Warren Buffett, the famous billionaire investor, says that I've always been fascinated by business. From a very early age, I knew that I wanted to make money, but more importantly, I wanted to understand how money worked, how it could grow, and how I could make it work for me. When I was 11 years old, I made my first real investment. I bought 3 shares of a company called Cities Service Preferred for $38 a share. The stock dropped right away, and I watched it fall to $27. I was sweating. But when it went back up to $40, I sold it, making a small profit. Now, you might think that it was just a simple trade, but it was a lesson that stuck with me for the rest of my life. The lesson wasn't about the money I made. It was about the way I felt, the anxiety of seeing the price drop, and how, in the end, doing nothing, holding on to those shares, would have been the best move. That experience taught me a valuable lesson. The market is unpredictable, and if you believe in the underlying business, sometimes the best thing to do is just wait. Patience, it turns out, is a big part of investing. Before that first stock purchase, I had a taste for making money. I sold gum, I ran a paper route. But when I made that first stock investment, I realized something crucial. It wasn't just about working for money. It was about making money work for me. That idea of earning without constant effort fascinated me, and so it became my focus. As I got older, I started to look at the world differently. By the time I was in my 20s, I had already learned a lot about business and investing. But when I bought a small textile company called Berkshire Hathaway in 1965, that's when everything really started to change for me. It wasn't the textile business I cared about. The textiles were already struggling. But there was something else about Berkshire that caught my eye. It was an insurance company. And if you understand insurance, you realize that it's a cash flow machine. That cash flow, known as a float, could be invested into other businesses. That's when the real magic started. One of our key philosophies is that we don't look at short-term fluctuations in the market. It doesn't matter what the stock price does today or tomorrow. What matters is whether the business will be better 10, 20, or 30 years down the road. If it will, then you've made a good bet. It's not about guessing, it's about thinking long-term. And over the years, that's been the key to our success. One of our key philosophies is that we don't look at short-term fluctuations in the market. It doesn't matter what the stock price does today or tomorrow. What matters is whether the business will be better 10, 20, or 30 years down the road. If it will, then you've made a good bet. It's not about guessing, it's about thinking long-term. And over the years, that's been the key to our success. Let me tell you about Coca-cola. Back in 1988, people thought Coke's best days were behind it. But Charlie and I saw something others didn't. Coca-Cola had this incredible global brand, and it dominated its industry. The thing about Coca-Cola is that it's the kind of business that people buy, even when times are tough. They love it. It's like a moat around the company, protecting it from competitors. So, we bought a large stake in Coca-Cola, and it turned out to be one of the best investments we ever made. When we make investments, we don't look at the next quarter's earnings. That's the mistake many investors make. We look for companies with staying power, and that's the secret. Buy a business that will do well year after year and hold on for the long run. I've always said that the best investment you can make is in yourself, whether it's reading books, learning from others, or just learning to make good decisions. That's the real key. If you know how to make decisions and you're patient, you'll get ahead in life, in business, and in investing. But let me be clear, I've made mistakes. Everyone does. But I've learned that mistakes are part of the process. It's what you do after you make those mistakes that matters. You learn from them and move forward. The Berkshire Hathaway annual meeting is something I look forward to every year. It's not just a chance to speak to thousands of shareholders. It's a chance to connect with people who care about the same things I do: business, investments, and the long-term success of companies. One of the things I always say at the meeting is that the stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. That's the truth. If you're willing to sit back and let your investments grow, you'll come out ahead. But if you're constantly jumping in and out of stocks, trying to chase the next big thing, you'll lose. Beyond investing, I've always believed in giving back. I've been very fortunate in life, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had. That's why I pledge to give away the majority of my wealth to causes I believe in, especially through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Wealth is meant to be used, not hoarded, and I believe in making the world a little better for those who come after us. When it comes down to it, investing is about understanding the businesses you're buying, being patient, and thinking long-term. It's about sticking with your decisions and not letting fear or greed guide you. And maybe the most important thing I've learned is that life is about making the right bets, not just in business, but in everything you do. So make sure you bet on the right things, and make sure you give yourself time for those bets to pay off.